What is a solver? What does it want? These are questions that everyone has speculated on as the series continues, and even to this day we still only have a small glimpse as to what it really is. There are a lot of strange things about it. In episode 4, Khan states that Nori mentions the singularity awakens. The word singularity has multiple meanings. The state, fact, quality, or condition of being singular, a point at which a function takes an infinite value, especially in space-time when matter is infinitely dense, as the center of a black hole, a hypothetical moment in time when artificial intelligence and other technologies have become so advanced that humanity undergoes a dramatic, irreversible change. A lot of fans grab onto the third definition, as assume the solver is a rogue AI. However, this does not make a lot of sense for me. Why would Nori say the singularity awakens if the events on Earth had already happened? Remember, by the time Nori had been living with Khan, Earth had already been destroyed along with the humans in Copper 9. So what's awakening exactly? If we look at the second definition of the singularity, we can see that it refers to a function that takes an infinite value and at the center of a black hole. But why is this important? Because Nori and Uzi draw visions of a black hole and treadles. Could the word singularity in the show be referring to some kind of creature that resembles a black hole? A similar note in episode 5, En tries to talk to Sin, but it corrects him and refers to itself as the solver of the absolute fabric, the void, the exponential end. This creature does not identify itself as Sin, Sin's just a host, and a simple name we can attach to what might be an unknowable horror. In the same episode, and in a blink you miss it scene, we get to see a small flashback from the original Sin when she rebooted and awakened in the robot dump. If you pause just right, you can see that Sin's facial screen, she was having a conversation with something. The conversation is heavily damaged and we can't fully read it, but it has enough for us to make a conclusion, something we were trying to appeal to Sin by sympathizing with her situation. Very interesting sentence that this can read as is, "I will not discard you," the same haunting words that were said to Tessa in the same episode. And at the end of the text conversation, there is a request prompt asking for her access, presumably access into Sin's body, with the options of yes or no. So something from the outside came into Sin's body and possessed her, but what? When Uzi and Nori were possessed, they were not like themselves. We as the viewers know that they hadn't gone rogue, but were instead being controlled. We assumed it's Sin doing this possession, but then who is controlling Sin? It's likely that we've barely seen Sin in the show at all, and the creature will not refer to itself as a solver, or even the real main antagonist. Our characters only refer to it as Sin because of the lack of understanding. So what is this thing and how does it work? I have a theory. Have you ever heard of the Fermi paradox? To dumb it down, the Fermi paradox asks the question of why haven't we seen all alien life yet, and why we haven't received a signal from an alien civilization yet. Is there something preventing these civilizations from traveling too deep into space? Some people think that it's a social factor where civilizations discover things like nuclear weapons and wipe themselves out before even making it out of the planet. However, some have suggested that alien civilizations are being destroyed by other aliens the moment they find them to prevent any form of long-term competition. For a while now, science fiction writers have used these questions to present the concept of hyper-predators, creatures from a singular powerful creature that preys on planets. Predators that wait for a sign or signal from a brand new civilization that's excited to communicate and meet aliens only to be greeted by the world-ending threat, a devourer of worlds. Don't you think it's a bit odd how hungry the solver is implied to be in the show? Its full body was the host, and why would it need feed so much? And where's the rest of the materials and biomass after it consumed all of Earth? I'll tell you why. Because the host is not the solver, but a simple puppet of the solver. The real solver is something that's an unimaginable size. Something that looks like a black hole to someone who does bear witness to it. A large hungry mass that only aims to expand externally and consume until there's nothing left. A void, the exponential end. We might never truly know its origins. Perhaps it's just a regular predator that comes out as an ultimate conclusion to evolution. Or maybe it was an alien AI that went rogue and has achieved something close to godhood. But one thing is certain at this point, it wants to eat Copper 9 next. Wherever the true form of the solver lies, it's clear that the main mass that makes up its physical form is limited in an unspecified point in space, so it remains dormant for an undisclosed amount of time until it detects life. We don't know exactly how it does this, but it must have something to do with the church at the bottom of Copper 9. If you look closely at the Pope looking hat in episode 7 Mass Destruction, there's a symbol at the center that resembles an eye, and the rest of the church has symbol statues that are not of any currently known religion. So logic dictates that this church is dedicated to the solver itself. If you look closely at the maid hats in the mansion episode, you can also see that a strange eye symbol that resembles a solver. All of this implies that a group of people were worshipping the solver long before the events of the show. But why would humans have to worship it, and why wouldn't the solver attack the humans right then and there? The cabin fever labs are implied to be decades old, so the solver had plenty of time to attack, yet it didn't. Have you ever wondered why the robots are called drones instead of just robots? A drone can be known as a male honeybee, and the word drone gets used a lot. It also describes mindless things that continually do a specific task. In the past, Liam Vickers has also referred to ants as worker drones. All of this comes together with a common theme: creatures that are born from a queen. Ants and bees are synonymous with hive minds. The disassembly drones have a bee color pattern with their yellow and black, and the solver is heavily synonymous with the color yellow, the color of honey. We even get a scene in episode 2 where the solver refers to worker drones as its cute little puppet. So what if the technology of the worker drones came from the solver? What if Tessa's family's bloodline became wealthy because they had to deal with this creature that they found all those years ago? And what if the reason the solver didn't outright attack the humans was because it wanted to trick them into spreading its worker drones across all of the human colonized planets, so that when it attacked, it could have plenty of ways of infiltrating and attacking the humans, while also having a new list of habitable planets it can consume. It's also possible that at some point Tessa's family forgot about the solver and abandoned the church, or perhaps they realized it was bad news and they tried to erase all the evidence there was of their involvement and its existence, thinking that it wouldn't catch up to them. The solver seemed to have been targeting the Elliots specifically at the beginning of the invasion, and this leads us to the next part of the solver's plan. It goes to work by communicating with a chosen worker drone that reboots back to life. At this point, it needs permission from the drone to be able to access and possess the body. If the drone accepts, and they are gifted with powers and will progress over time. Meanwhile, the personality host will slowly be consumed until they are without the hive mind of the solver. During the final stages of the solver host, we'll begin to build prototype drones that will become the main foot soldiers in the invasion, or in this case, murder drones. These drones are not solver hosts, they can't be controlled the same way. Instead, the disassembly drones are pushed in different ways to incentivize them to do the task at hand, such as changing their memories or giving them increased aggression with feral instincts. Some examples are Jay thinking that she will work for the company all the time, or the X screen that shows whenever they are ready to make a kill. Whenever the disassembly drones have X on their screen, they don't seem to be themselves and they even lose memories. This would explain why in episode 1, V literally forgets who it is making a kill. Once the prototypes are finished, the solver host will upgrade itself to become much more suitable to command its new army. All corrupted drones within proximity will follow its every command, and they will metamorphosize into disassembly drones after the consumption of adequate biomatter. The solver will begin cloning mass productions of disassembly drones it deems effective, and the attack will spread worldwide, while also activating a chemical reaction that begins to grow a creature at the core of the planet and an amalgamation of tentacles. This creature will destabilize the planet and will help with the invasion as offensive battering against military defenses and gravitational instability. It's also likely that this creature is also consuming the planet's biomass and neutral resources. During this, the solver host will also create a pit out of meat that will work as a makeshift portal that teleports the solver into the planet's atmosphere. It's currently unclear what exactly happens during the stage to the biomass that is consumed by the drones, but what comes next is a giant black hole null portal that appears near the planet. This is likely being summoned by the solver host that's currently floating in space, and an increase in its resources and energies that's being consumed helps with the process. Eventually the portal will become complete, and tendrils of the true form of the solver will reach out and completely consume the planet. After this, the solver host and the rest of the drones will fly out towards the other human worlds to consume it. However, there seems to be a small problem. The old solver host doesn't seem to be able to summon a null portal, and instead we see that Sin attempts to consume Dull or Uzi for its plan to be completed. In this case, it ate Dull before deciding to teleport into space to commence with the final stages of the invasion. Perhaps squid cores provide enough energy for the host to open up the portal. Praise the solver of the absolute fabric, the void, the exponential end. I have been your host, Dronethorn, once again. Big thanks to Murphy64 for helping me write this theory. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and click on the video here.